Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the biggest AI news for the week ending August 10th, 2025. Our goal, give you that informed edge.
And yeah, it was quite a week. We saw some surprising stuff from the big players, major strategy changes, and AI popping up in really interesting new areas. Think space, finance, plus, the usual human challenges that come with deploying this tech everywhere. It's moving fast.
Okay, let's kick things off with OpenAI. Always making headlines. Sam Altman did a Reddit AMA, and there's talk about a bumpy GPT-5 rollout. What went down there?
Right. So Altman himself used that word bumpy. He said it was mainly down to a technical glitch. Apparently, a real-time router wasn't working right, which actually made GPT-5 seem less capable than GPT-4.
Oh, wow. So it looked like a downgrade.
Exactly. And that led to users, especially the Plus subscribers, basically saying, hey, can we have 4.0 back? Altman mentioned they're seriously looking into that. And also maybe doubling the rate limits for Plus users, which would be huge.
Yeah, that rate limit increase would be a big deal. Okay, but that bumpiness, did it connect to that whole chart crime incident that blew up online?
Well, it probably didn't help the mood, right? But the mega chart screw-up, as some called it, that was specifically about a benchmark slide they used during the launch presentation. It was misleading.
Misleading how?
It just didn't accurately represent the performance compared to other models, at least on that one slide. The charts on their official blog post were correct, apparently. But you know how things spread online? That one bad visual, that chart crime, got shared everywhere.
Right. Creates confusion fast.
Totally. So Altman's promised more transparency now, like telling users clearly which model is actually answering their prompts. And they're working on fixes, obviously, to rebuild confidence and get performance back on track.
Yeah.
Shows even the leaders stumble sometimes.
Definitely. But okay, it wasn't all firefighting for OpenAI. They also made a pretty big strategic move, one that felt different for them.
Yeah, that was the launch of GPT-OSS. OSS standing for open source software, basically.
Yeah.
This is their first set of open weight models since GPT-2 way back in 2019. It's a pretty significant shift.
Open weight, so developers can actually use and build on these models.
Exactly. There are at least two versions. One's GPT-OS20B, that's about 21 billion parameters. Think of parameters like the model's knowledge connections. And then there's a much larger one, GPT-S120B, with around 117 billion parameters.
And what about using them? Are they practical?
Well, they're both Apache 2.0 licensed, which gives developers a lot of freedom, even commercially. And they're tuned for reasoning tasks. The smaller 20B model is pretty accessible, runs on GPUs with about 16 gigs of VRAM, which is, manageable for many developers or smaller companies. Performance-wise, it's apparently on par with OpenAI's own O3 mini model.
Okay, and the bigger one?
The 120B rivals their A4 mini, which is impressive, but it needs a hefty 80 gigabyte GPU. So that's more for enterprise use or serious research labs. They're making them available widely too. Hugging Face, Azure, AWS, Alama.
So what's the strategy here? Why go open now after focusing so much on proprietary models like GPT-4 and 5?
It seems like a dual strategy, really. They're saying the focus is on local deployment, making AI more accessible to developers, and increasing transparency. It lets them support and maybe even influence the open source community, keep developers engaged with their ecosystem, while they simultaneously keep developing their cutting-edge, closed models like GPT-5 and whatever comes next.
Interesting. So like fostering the wider ecosystem while keeping the crown jewels proprietary.
Pretty much. It's a way to contribute, maybe speed up certain kinds of innovation, and build goodwill without giving away their absolute state-of-the-art tech. It'll definitely shake up the open source landscape and puts pressure on other players. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Okay, fascinating stuff from OpenAI. Let's pivot now to how AI is being used out in the world, in some perhaps unexpected places, starting way out there, in space.
Yeah, this is cool. NASA and Google are working together on something called the Crew Medical Officer Digital Assistant, CMODA for short. It runs on Google Cloud's Vertex AI platform.
And what does it do? Sounds like a virtual doctor for astronauts.
Essentially, yes. It's designed to help astronauts diagnose and treat medical conditions during long deep space missions, like, say, a trip to Mars. The key is when communication back to Earth is really slow or just not possible in real time. This gives them some immediate support.
That sounds incredibly useful. Is it accurate? Have they tested it?
They have. They've run tests on things like diagnosing ankle injuries, flank pain, ear pain, conditions astronauts might realistically face. And the results are promising. Evaluations by doctors and an astronaut showed diagnostic accuracy between 74% and 88%.
That's actually really impressive for an early system.
It is. And NASA wants to expand it, make it more aware of the situation on board, and even integrate it with medical devices they have on the spacecraft. It's all about keeping the crew safe and healthy on those really long missions where they're truly on their own.
What are the broader implications beyond just astronauts on Mars?
Oh, huge potential. Think about remote healthcare here on Earth. Isolated communities, disaster zones, maybe even battlefield medicine. Anywhere you don't have immediate access to a doctor, an AI assistant like this could provide crucial guidance. It's a really interesting application of AI for extreme environments.
Absolutely. Okay, let's bring it back down to earth, but stick with Google for a moment. They're also weaving AI into more everyday tools like Google Finance.
That's right. Google Finance get a big overhaul, and a key part is a new AI chatbot built right in. You can ask it finance questions, and it's supposed to give you real-time, context-rich answers, pointing you to market data, news, analysis, that sort of thing.
So making financial info easier to access and understand for, well, for people like you listening, whether you're just dabbling or actively trading.
That seems to be the goal. Making it more interactive, more conversational, less about just looking up stock tickers, and more about understanding the why. For casual users, it could break down jargon. For active traders, maybe quicker access to info. It really shows Google pushing generative AI deeper into its consumer products, connecting that conversational ability with structured data, in this case, financial data.
And they're doing something similar in education too, right? Taking on competitors like ChatGPT.
Yes, exactly. They've boosted Gemini, their AI model, with a feature called guided learning. It's positioned directly against ChatGPT's study mode and aims to provide step-by-step learning help.
How does it work? Is it just giving answers?
No, that's the key difference they're highlighting. It uses Socratic-style prompting. So instead of just telling you the answer, it guides you with questions, prompts you to think, and help you work through the problem yourself. It integrates diagrams, videos, quizzes, flashcards, a whole toolkit within the chat.
Encouraging active learning, then.
Precisely. More about understanding the process, not just getting the result. And they're offering eligible students a free year of their AI Pro subscription to use it,
Yeah.
which is a nice incentive. It just underscores how competitive that whole edtech space is becoming, with AI playing a bigger and bigger role.
Okay, let's shift gears completely now. A really surprising move from Tesla regarding their AI infrastructure.
Yeah, this one raised some eyebrows. Tesla decided to shut down its Dojo supercomputer project. Staff are being reassigned, and Peter Bannon, who was leading it, has left the company.
Dojo, that was their big in-house AI computer project, right? For self-driving.
Exactly. Launched in 2021, built around their own custom D1 chip. The whole idea was to process the absolutely massive amounts of video data coming from their cars to train the full self-driving models.
Yeah.
They even had a next-gen D2 chip planned, but apparently that never made it into production.
So what happens now for their self-driving ambitions? Are they giving up on custom hardware?
It looks like a major pivot away from doing everything in-house. They'll be relying much more on external suppliers now. There was news of a huge $16.5 billion chip deal with Samsung. Plus, they'll be using more hardware from NVIDIA and AMD, companies that specialize in this stuff.
So shifting from building it themselves to buying it.
Seems like it. A move towards partnerships over purely internal development for that core AI training infrastructure. It definitely raises questions about their FSD development timeline, whether this speeds things up by using established players or slows things down because they lose that bespoke advantage. Time will tell.
Interesting strategic choice. And speaking of choices, there was an interesting piece looking at why some top AI researchers are not taking those massive paychecks from big tech.
Right, that was from Daybreak by the Ken. They explored why some leading AI minds are turning down extremely lucrative offers. And the reasons weren't just about money. It was more about concerns over the intense push for commercialization in big companies.
Creative constraints, maybe.
Yeah, feeling creatively hemmed in, and sometimes just a fundamental clash of values.
Yeah.
They didn't align with the company's ultimate goals or approach.
So where are they going instead, if not the tech giants?
They're often choosing independent research labs, maybe smaller, more focused startups, or even nonprofit organizations. It highlights this kind of, well, ideological split emerging in AI.
Between what? Mission and profit?
Kind of, yeah. Mission-driven innovation versus purely profit-driven scaling. Some of these researchers seem to prioritize the freedom to chase ideas they believe in, focusing on ethical or responsible AI development over the huge sums offered by corporations. says a lot about the soul-searching happening in the field.
Definitely something to think about. Okay, next up, a story about how quickly things can get confusing, especially when AI services get bundled with other products.
Ah, yes, the Perplexity and Airtel situation. This started with a Reddit post that really took off. It claimed that users of Airtel, the big telecom company in India, were getting a kind of watered-down version of Perplexity Pro, the premium AI search service.
Watered down how? Like fewer features.
The post alleged this pro-light version, as they called it, was missing things like charts in the answers, citations, and generally gave less rich responses compared to regular Pro subscribers.
And what did Perplexity say? Did they confirm different tiers?
No, they came out with a pretty strong denial. They stated very clearly that Airtel customers get the exact same Perplexity Pro access as everyone else. That includes all the advanced AI models, file uploads, image generation, all the premium tools. No downgrade, they insisted. Same service everywhere, regardless of partner.
So, a case of misinformation spreading quickly.
It seems so. It really highlights how careful you, the user, need to be. Especially when AI services are part of bundles or partnerships, rumors can spread like wildfire, and it's always best to check the official source before believing claims about service differences. Trust, but verify, maybe.
Good advice. Okay, finally, let's end on something that feels straight out of science fiction, but it's happening right now. A robot mall.
Yeah. In Shenzhen, China, they've opened what's being billed as the world's first mall, staffed entirely by humanoid robots. And get this, many of the robots working there are also for sale.
Wow, what are they actually doing? Serving coffee, selling things.
All of the above, apparently. They're handling retail tasks, customer service, even food prep in cafes within the mall, plus doing live demonstrations of their own capabilities. It's a massive showcase of China's ambitions in commercial robotics.
What are these robots like? Can they talk, recognize people?
They're equipped with pretty advanced tech conversational AI,
Yeah.
facial recognition, adaptive learning, so they supposedly get better over time. You could apparently interact with them quite naturally, order coffee, make payments, ask questions. It's designed to be an immersive experience.
So it's a part store, part tech demo, part future glimpse.
Exactly. It really blurs those lines. It's a statement piece showing China's drive in AI-powered retail and hospitality. It demonstrates how AI could be integrated very visibly into public spaces sooner than maybe many people thought.
What a tour. From OpenAI's internal tweaks and open source moves to AI diagnosing astronauts and advising on finances, through corporate shifts at Tesla, researcher motivations, misinformation pitfalls, and now robot-run malls, it's been a packed week.
Absolutely. It just shows how incredibly fast this field is moving.
Yeah.
Constant innovation, constant adaptation,
Yeah.
and increasingly, these really important questions about trust, transparency, and how we integrate AI into society responsibly. It never stops.
It really doesn't. So as AI weaves itself deeper into our world, from the lab bench to the shop floor, maybe the question for you is, what new possibilities or perhaps concerns do these rapid changes spark in your mind about the future we're building? Something to ponder. We'll be back next time with another deep dive.